Hi, I'm Kathy Forste, music director here at Café Radio. Today I have the great pleasure of chatting with singer-songwriter Nick Justice. Nick has a new project out with Fetter Martin Homer called the SideMen, and it's been getting a lot of airplay here on Café Radio and a lot of fans enjoying the music. Thank you so much, Nick, for joining us today and here on Café Radio.
Thank you, Kathy. And not only am I a fan, but I'm a listener too.
Oh, good. That's good to hear. We like having listeners. So tell me about this project you've done with Fetter Martin Homer. Why did you guys decide to do this project together?
Yeah, so we got together, I guess it was in 2000, end of 2020, and it was still, COVID happening. And I was doing a internet show called In the Music Room with Nick Justice, and he was a singer-songwriter here in Southern California, and I always wanted to meet him, so I interviewed him on my show, and we play a couple of tunes, and then we decided, hey, this sounds pretty good. We did a bunch of internet shows, got some good response, and then over the last 2.5 years, we did our 100th show in LA just about a month ago. And yeah, we put out our first video and we put out this record. And although it is a side project for both of us, I'm actually working on my another solo record right now with, I don't know if you know, folk legend Joel Raphael.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working with him on a new solo record down in San Diego. So, but we'll probably continue the SideMen project on and off. But like I said, we're both individual singer-songwriters, so I think we want to kind of get back to that too.
Right. Well, it's good to have two things going. That way you're always busy.
Yeah, exactly. And I like to stay busy. That was one of the impetus of me starting my solo project, because I get itchy. I like to be in the studio. So
right. So are these songs on this album, were they written together, or are these individual songs that you guys decided to just work on together?
Well, two of them we wrote together, Light as an Angel and Lady of the Roses. And Lady of the Roses, we were at the Tucson Folk Festival, and we got in the night before. It was too hot to walk around. And we were sitting in the hotel room. He had this title and chord changes, and I wrote the rest of the words, and that's how we came up with that one. Pretty similar to the other one too. And then he had 4 of his own originals that he wrote, and I had 4 of mine that I wrote for this record. Yeah, so 2 co-writes and 4 individuals by each of us.
Very cool. Well, you just mentioned Lady of the Roses. Would you like to perform that one for us right now?
Sure. Let's see here. I think I remember.
What kind of guitar are you playing there?
This is a VS 2800. This is a Martin, and it's the vintage series. It's a 12 fret and smaller body guitar. Even though I'm a big guy, I like the smaller body guitars.
Yeah.
This has a bright sound. I bought it I was in Nashville not too long ago, and was over at Carter Vintage Guitars. And bought it there.
Oh, it's a beautiful guitar.
Lady of the Roses, whispers in the wind, collects broken souls and repairs them again. See a death is parted when the bell tolls at dawn. Come in from the cold till the chill is gone. Mercy, oh mercy, please have on me. I have what I want, not what I need. Lady of the Roses, there's nowhere to see. Now I'm lost in eternity. Lady of the Roses died of a fever, died alone. No one could save her. Her spirit kept singing that lonesome song. She heard the wings of heaven through the canyon. Mercy, oh mercy, please have on me. I have what I want, not what I need. Lady of the roses, there's nowhere to see. Now I'm lost in eternity. When the leaves are falling and the sun goes down, the lady of the roses doesn't make a sound. The stones are softened by the water downstream. She floats in the night like a spirit in a dream. Mercy, oh mercy, please have on me. I have what I want, not what I need. Lady of the roses, there's nowhere to see. Now I'm lost in eternity. Yippee-ki-yay, yippee-ki-yay-oh, yippee-ki-yay, yippee-ki-yay-oh.
Beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
That's great. So, do you guys, since you both are like really good songwriters and guitarists as well, how do you guys decide who does what in the duo, the sidemen?
Well, really easy. I'm bass and drums, and he plays all the lead. He's a better player than I am, and so in a duo, we utilize a few instruments. I play banjo, guitar, mandolin, harmonica. He plays banjo and guitar, so we kind of switch up on our live act. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
like a hoot.
There you go. Well, that's awesome. What style of banjo do you play? Are you a three-finger style? Or are you
it's actually
hammer?
a intro. It's a 6-string, a good time.
Okay.
Yeah, good time. Yeah.
That sounds good. Yeah, awesome. I'm a banjo teacher, so I'm always interested in what people are doing.
But you're probably you probably play 5-string banjo, right?
Yeah, I play 5-string. Yeah, the Earl Scruggs style. So.
Oh gosh, I might have to hit you up for some lessons.
Yeah. So compare this to your solo work. How would you say this is different from your solo work?
Well, just working with another singer-songwriter and harmonizing with them. But we actually used my production team that I use on my solo records. That's Richard Berdice, who engineered and produced, and Richard Steckel. I used both of them on all my solo records. So, it was kind of familiar to me, the setting, because I've worked with these guys over 5 records. And so, yeah, that was about it. Working with somebody, they have equal say, and
Right.
they may not exactly, always, we may not be in tune musically all the time, but we worked it out, and I think the record came out pretty good. We had some great people playing on it. Gabe Witcher from the Punch Brothers played fiddle on the record. Alan Dermo, who toured exclusively with John Denver in those years that he was popular, played upright bass, and then we filled in the rest. So
yeah, that's some great musicians there. I was going to ask you, how did you get in touch with the Punch Brothers and working with members of that group?
Yeah, so Richard Berdice, who's engineered and produced all my solo records, he actually gave, I think, Gabe Witcher guitar lessons when he was like, I don't know, 7 or 8, 9 years old. And they stayed friendly, and Gabe worked in his studio. So they were friendly. And I must say, I gave Gabe a call, and he couldn't have been nicer. I mean, he doesn't know me from a hole in the head. Couldn't be nicer, and said, hey, I'm about to go on tour with the Punch Brothers. I got about a week. Send me the tracks. And I sent them, I think, on a Tuesday, and by Thursday morning I had them. And
wow.
I mean, they were perfect.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's great to have people with have people who know people, right?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it is. I had Greg Lease play on. Greg Lease, who's been touring exclusively with Jackson Browne, and he's probably one of the foremost pedal steel players in the world. right now. He played on my first two records, and same thing, you know, through Richard and Richard Steckel. Actually, Richard Steckel and Greg Least used to play in the Funky Kings together with Jack Tempchin way back then.
Wow. Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's a lot of, and right now I'm working with Joel Raphael, and got access to Marty Rifkin, who's a multi-instrumentalist out of LA. So yeah, it's good to know people, right? Make your record sound a lot better, I can tell you that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So you said you're also doing a solo project right now.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about that.
So you know, we played a what was it? The Idlewild singer-songwriter folk festival. And Joe Raphael was the headliner, and we were on right before him. So he caught our act, and then he got in contact with me like maybe a month later and said, "Hey, you know, I dig your sound. You know, if you ever want to cut some demos, you know, he has a ranch down there in north of Escondido, California." So we said, yeah. So I gave him a call. We went down there. We cut a couple of demos as a sidemen. And then Fetter wasn't ready in his writing mode, you know, to really pursue another record right away. I'm always writing, so I always have songs laying around.
Yeah.
So he decided not to do that, and so I said, well, hey, I got songs, you know. So Joe, I've been working with Joel. I don't know, last month we got like four songs down there.
Wow. So you're constantly writing? Do you like set aside time every day to write, or is it just you write because the inspiration is always coming to you?
You know, both. I mean, if I'm sitting around and inspiration comes, yeah, I'll pick up the guitar. But you know, I play every day, so usually around 3 o'clock after I've worked out and done all my chores and stuff, I go into my music room, which you can see behind me, and just sit here for 3 or 4 hours just playing. And you know, things will come some days they don't. You know how that goes. You're a
Yeah.
songwriter, you know.
Yeah. So are you mostly write on the guitar, or is it mostly?
Yeah, I have a piano here. I can tinkle a little bit with it, but mostly I write on the guitar. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever written a song on the piano?
You know, I haven't, but I have ideas. You know, I have a piano here. I wouldn't consider myself a piano player. I
Yeah.
can play a few chords and put little things together. So I put little riffs together, but nothing that I've turned into a song yet.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to learn this thing.
That's the way I feel. It's like the guitar is something you're always going to learn. There's always something you're going to learn on the guitar. But I took piano in college because I was a music minor, and it just never resonated with me like the guitar did. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I had guitar's more intimate, don't you think? Folks, you know,
because I tell people, I think
if the guitar, story.
Yeah, and the guitar, it's right up against your body. So you feel the guitar more than you do a piano, you know. The guitar is sort of intimate with you as a player. And I think that's another reason why the guitar is with me, you know, it works for me. Can we get another song out of you? Tell me a little bit about the song.
Sure.
Meet the Train.
This is a song called Meet the Train. This is actually one of the first songs I wrote after we formed the SideMen. And a little story, I'm kind of an insomniac, and I was, you know, RFD, that channel. I love the Marty Stewart show, so I had that on, and I fell asleep. And then when I woke up, it was some kind of John Ford Western on that. Somebody was saying, "Who's going to meet the train?" And I just took that, and the next morning went to breakfast, and was thinking about a phone call I had with my little sister, and reading the paper, some stories, 2 stories, and each verse, that's it. 1 talking to my sister, and 2 reading the paper. This is called Meet the Train.
Daddy's working late, Mama's on the telephone. Little sister's in the mirror, wondering why she ain't grown. I'm just a hanging, waiting on a cloud of rain. Asking myself, who's gonna meet the train? Everybody's running, hustling to make a buck, but there ain't no work, and we're playing out of luck. Hopelessness will get you, try to drive you insane. That's why I keep asking, who's gonna meet the train? It tries so hard to be true. Circumstance gets the best of you. That's why I gotta know, who's gonna meet the train. Borders raising up the levee, there's a flood coming down the hill. But no one's leaving town, everyone is standing still. It's always been this way, nothing's gonna ever change. That's why I keep asking, who's gonna meet the train? Darkness brings the cover tonight. Morning brings the sun, shining light. That's why I gotta know, who's gonna meet the train? Who's gonna meet the train? Who's gonna meet the train?
All right, great. Got a little interruption with a phone call there, but you powered through it. That's the sign of a true professional.
You're right, right. I mean, there's so many things, I gotta tell you, Feeder and I were laughing a couple of weeks ago. We were talking, 100 gigs, man. We ran into every problem you could run into,
Yeah,
So you learn to roll with it, right?
exactly. Yeah, you just keep going. That's why I tell my students. I say, it doesn't matter if you mess up, just keep going.
Keep going. It's all part of the act.
Exactly. Nobody's really going to know it bothers you more than you. So,
Exactly.
so I want to ask you a little bit about recording during the pandemic and trying to being a working musician during the pandemic. How did you survive that? Because so many of us performing musicians, we couldn't do gigs. And
Yeah.
so how did you get through
So
that?
mostly just, Facebook Live, we pretty much every week we do something. And then we did a couple of social distancing outdoor gigs. Like we did a benefit there's a local place here called Campus Jack's, Feed the Children. We did a benefit there. It was outside and all socially distanced. And then in the studio, we masked up and, I was in a vocal booth or playing my guitar or singing, and somebody was in another room. We kind of did it like that. Because everybody was kind of, freaked out at the time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you just find a way, you find a way to get through and
Exactly.
to do it. That's great. So I want to know what you have going on for the next year. You said that you and Feeder are not really going to do anything in the next year, or are you? Are you kind
Well,
of
yeah, I mean, I think we'll probably, either play Tucson or Flagstaff, probably do that. But I'm actually trying to break into like trying to get into go to Europe. Brett Perkins, he runs the Idlewild Festival. He's out of Denmark, and I've been talking to him about getting over there and
Mhm.
maybe doing Ireland,
Yeah.
some places in Copenhagen, a few places like that.
Yeah, a lot of
But
singer
otherwise,
songs.
just doing the regular scene around here.
Yeah.
Um, Got to throw a few covers in every once in a while, but there's like 3 or 4 places we can play pretty regularly.
That's
So
good.
we've been
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah. And are you recording any solo stuff coming up? How many solo albums have you put out? You put out a lot of
There
solo
are
work.
5, and like I said earlier, I'm working with Joel Raphael right now on my 6th, and I figured that I probably really I'm thinking he's having a hip surgery coming up in December, so that'll put us down for about 6 or 7 weeks. But I'm thinking I'll probably finish this record sometime in March. I know I'm doing a couple of shows with him, opening for him, and then I'll probably release it sometime in the summer.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
So we're still promoting this one,
Right.
SideMen. So,
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll look forward to hearing that. That'll be
yeah.
exciting to hear. So I thank you again. The new
Sure,
album is
thank
called
you. This
the
is
new album is
great.
called The Sidemen with Fetter, Martin Homer, and Nick Justice here. And we look forward to hearing more from you in the summer, and tune in and hear the music from the Sidemen on Casey Cafe Radio as well. I think your website is thesidemen.net. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then what's your website for your music?
NickJusticeMusic.com.
Okay, and you can find everything on
And all your
Spotify and
streaming services. Yep, we're on Spotify, all the streaming services.
yeah. You have any YouTube videos up that you'd want to promote as well?
Yeah, we actually do. If you go to the Sidemen, go to YouTube, Sidemen Music. There's a bunch of live stuff, and then there's our, Lady of the Roses video, which we actually shot with a guy who Joel turned us on to. Now his name's escaping me. Don't you know that? But anyway, he just went out on tour with Los Lobos. He's shooting a documentary with them, and it was really interesting experience. It was like 103 that day, and we're like full jackets and hats, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's all on YouTube, and like I
Very
said,
cool.
check us out.
All right. Well, great. Well, thank you, Nick, again for joining us.
Thanks, Kathy.
And
Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Good talking to you.
Okay, you too.